AT&T is one of the largest internet providers in the world. In the past, it was almost the largest company globally, but after the United States decided that this company monopolized the entire market, it was divided into several companies. As mentioned earlier, the company's main business is providing communication services. This includes internet, television, phone operator, and communication for emergency services. In modern times, without the services of this company, the whole world suffers significant losses because the internet is a network that cannot function as a single entity independently. All internet providers are somehow interconnected to allow you, for example, to watch this video even if you have a different provider than mine. Just like if AT&T ceases to exist, all servers and users using this company's services to access the network will be unavailable. AT&T is not just a national provider but an international one, which means it has its structure in several countries. I remind you that in its time, it was almost the largest company globally, and it has been around for over 100 years, indicating that for more than 100 years, this company has expanded its network worldwide. This infrastructure costs hundreds of billions, if not trillions, of dollars to build from scratch. That's why I can confidently say that it cannot have many competitors. Today, there are about two companies that can actually compete with AT&T, each with its advantages and disadvantages. Don't worry if you don't directly buy internet from AT&T but instead buy it from regional or rural providers, because these providers, to whom you pay money, pay for traffic redirection to one of the largest providers like AT&T. Because they simply cannot lay wires around the world to deliver your message from America to China. To perform such an operation, international providers need to cooperate, and as I mentioned, AT&T is one of them, and it's not just any national provider, it's an international provider. Do you understand what this is talking about now? Honestly, I never cared about the TV business the company was involved in because I don't fully understand it. In my opinion, the acquisition of HBO Max by the company was a complete failure from the start. I was only interested in its internet business, and finally, after the company separated this segment, I can buy the business I wanted to buy at cheaper prices. The company is so perfect and secure that it's scary to imagine having to spend a couple of hours explaining how the internet works and why AT&T plays a crucial role in this field. Of course, when you are so giant and have such huge incomes that you don't even know where to spend everything, all you can do is increase dividends. But instead of spending the company's funds on competition in the 5G sphere and fiber optic wires to reinforce its key market positions in the internet, it starts allocating funds to buy such rubbish as HBO Max. This, honestly, only caused negative emotions in me. Naturally, the company's stock price, after it cut stable dividends like everyone considered them, and separated the unnecessary from itself like HBO, caused the stock price to drop to $20. The moment I started buying shares of this company was around $16 per share. It didn't matter to me what everyone else was saying. I know how the internet works and what AT&T is, so I slowly built a position in this company. Fortunately, everyone started pressuring this company to drop it to $13 per share. Banks lowered their ratings for this company, and then the whole internet shouted about poison wires that AT&T used to provide services. At that moment, I laughed and bought as many shares as I could. Think about it, did no one know how the internet works and that the company has been using environmentally hazardous wires for over 100 years? Everyone knew about it, it's just that everyone kept silent because if this infrastructure were destroyed, the whole world would literally be without the internet, not just your village. Here's another example. Coca-Cola is the biggest producer of plastic waste, which is constantly being dumped into the ocean and buried in the ground. Plastic cannot decompose for hundreds of years and poisons the land, causing constant suffering for birds and fish. Do Coca-Cola's stocks fall because of this? Of course not, the company makes money, and people want to drink Coca-Cola, which is all it takes to avoid raising this issue. But here, for a moment, when almost everyone in the world has a phone and a computer, suddenly there's panic about land pollution. Well, let's cut off everyone's internet connection so the land can heal. Do you understand how unrealistic that is? What's even more amusing is that all this news suddenly came out when AT&T stocks were already at their low highs, so they couldn't have found a better moment in 100 years to talk about this. After all, when else could you bring down one of the best companies in the world to $13 per share? Now, let's move on to the financial indicators. Here you can see the revenues, here you can see the net incomes, here you can see the assets, here you can see the debts. My final rating for this company is 7 out of 10. It's one of the best companies to have in your portfolio. I've already bought and will continue to buy shares of this company, but it will be about 1% of my portfolio. In my opinion, the company is taking the right steps to recover. First, they cut high dividends that they couldn't afford anymore. Second, they separated the non-profitable business like HBO Max from themselves and unloaded unnecessary debt there. Third, finally, the company will have money to invest in fiber optic cables and technologies like 5G, which will reduce service costs and increase data transmission efficiency for their clients. But don't rush to invest all your capital in this company, it still has a lot of risks that need to be understood. Currently, its PE ratio is impressive, but it still pays out half of its income as dividends. And if you look at the company's debt, at this rate, it will have to pay it off for many more years, which means not much money will go towards the company's development. Besides, I don't trust people who brought a great company like AT&T to such a state. I have no doubt that even if AT&T becomes a non-profitable company, the government will sponsor it because without its internet network, literally, the end will come. Currently, you can buy the company's shares for around $17, which in my opinion is a fair price. It's not cheap or expensive, it has a dividend income of around 6%, and honestly, I consider this to be all the income you can expect from this company. If the shares go above $19, I would sell all my shares, I wouldn't pay $20 for them. When I bought them at $13, it was a clearance sale, now it's a fair price. If you want a great dividend company in your portfolio that will definitely be in business for the next 20 to 30 years, it's your choice, but don't even think about investing more than 20% of your portfolio. The company has a lot of risks like competition, high debt, high interest rates, etc. If you liked my video, subscribe to my channel to not miss other great companies.